My issue from the beginning has been that I just don't want to be, in a sense, selectively prosecuted so that the Obama administration is doing to me what it would not normally do, let's say, to one of its own allies who had done the same thing. So here's a guy like Harry Reid, the Senate Majority Leader, and he has been using his campaign funds to fund his relatives' weddings. Now, this is kind of outrageous and underhanded, and yet no prosecution, no investigation. So that's why some people have raised the issue of selective prosecution here, because there seems to be a double standard in the overall pattern of how the Obama administration approaches these sorts of issues.
If you were selectively picked and they went after you, you've been doing some things, of course, that weren't too friendly to the administration, documentaries, books. Let's go through some of those, Dinesh, if you would.
Yes, I wrote a book called The Roots of Obama's Rage in 2010, which kind of exposed the fact that Obama was subscribed to a sort of anti-colonialist ideology that he got from his father. Remember, Obama's own book, his own autobiography, is called Dreams from My Father, in which he describes the way in which his father, although absent from his life, had a kind of decisive influence on his own upbringing. Then I turned that documentary into a movie. I made a film called 2016, which became the second most successful documentary of all time, making $33 million in the theater and then $10 million in DVD. So Obama himself, I know, was deeply upset by this film because he wrote a vituperative attack on it on his personal website, BarackObama.com. And from what I learned about Obama when I was down in Kenya, interviewing his family, his relatives, and so on, is that he's a very vindictive guy. He's the kind of guy who looks at the people who disagree with him not as well-meaning critics, but as enemies who should be, in a sense, ruined. And so we see a pattern in which Obama goes after his critics in that fashion. My partner, Jerry Molen, is a very respected Hollywood figure. He made movies like Jurassic Park and Schindler's List. Mm-hmm. But right after the two of us did 2016, he got a call from the IRS. So they were going after him for, his taxes. Now, they turned out they couldn't get him on anything. But my point is, this is the way these guys operate. So it's in that atmosphere that we're fighting a political battle today. It's a little bit troubling.
Well, there's no doubt about it, especially with what's been going on with the NSA and everything else. It's just, I think, the tip of the iceberg here. Now, you came from India, did you not?
Yes, I was born in Mumbai, Bombay, India, and I came to the United States at the age of 17 as an immigrant. In a way, it's strange because Obama and I have traveled sort of opposite paths. He's born in America, but he has embraced this kind of third world ideology. In my case, I was somebody who was born in the third world, but embraced America and the American way of life.
You love America. There is no question in my mind that you love America deeply. What do you feel these days, Dinesh, in terms of the sentiment toward America?
Well, I think that what I love about America is the great sense of possibility, the American dream, if you will. And what I worry about is that this American dream today has become very precarious. In other words, what's happened today is that we seem to have a leadership in this country that looks upon the forces that built America as oppressive, that says things like capitalism is a form of theft in which entrepreneurs grab from people what Obama calls their fair share. Now, when you really look at what entrepreneurs actually do, this kind of thinking makes no sense. I mean, here's Steve Jobs. He came up with the iPhone. He, in a sense, came up with a product that most of us didn't even know that we wanted or needed, but it became indispensable once he delivered it. Now, who has he been ripping off? Nobody. People willingly stand in line to buy the iPhone. So this whole notion that capitalism is somehow depriving people, Obama says, you didn't build that because you used the public roads and a public school teacher helped you along somewhere and the police protect you and so on. Well, yeah, but the police protect everybody. Everybody uses the roads. So you can't take away the credit of the entrepreneurs and what they develop by simply making the foolish point that as common citizens we benefit from the common defense and the common infrastructure that we all pay for.
What is your biggest concern right now as you look at the future of America? What's your concern?
Well, my concern is, countries actually do go up and countries come down. America has been a very special place to live for the past 60 years. It's been a superpower since the end of World War II. It's been the sole superpower since the Soviet Union collapsed in 1992. And during this time, America has had, of course, a wonderful standard of living. Even the ordinary guy, when I first came to America, I was just kind of taken aback at how good the ordinary fellow has it in America. Even the guy that's not that smart or doesn't work that hard has a nice house, has 2 cars, and lives, in a sense, a lifestyle that is the envy of much of the world. Also, America has been a country that has had a huge influence in world affairs. Nothing can really happen in Asia or South America or the Middle East without America having at least a powerful say-so. So this is what it means to live in the American era. My great worry is that within this country, we now have a leadership, the so-called progressive movement, if you will, that wants to end American dominance because it believes American dominance is somehow unjust or oppressive. It's not good for America that has only 5% of the world's population to have this outsized standard of living, or it's not good for America to dominate or bully the world from Obama's perspective. So what's really happening is that the people who are taking us down are not Iranian mullahs or Venezuelan dictators or Soviet apparatchiks. They are the people within this country who have essentially lost faith in America.
Are they trying to get us into this one world government club, Dinesh?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the matter of one world. What Obama wants to do is he wants to make America, I would call it an ordinary country. And that means an ordinary country like Greece or Finland or Uganda, for that matter. Just one country at the big dining table of nations. And Obama would like to see America go down a bit so that countries like China and Brazil and Russia and India can come up. He thinks the world would be more fair if one country wasn't sitting on the top, but it was what may be called a multipolar world in which there are many different foci of influence. Now, I think what Obama doesn't realize is that world would actually be far more dangerous. America has actually shown very benign leadership in the world. Right now, ships can go all over the world's oceans because they're protected by the U.S. Navy. The U.S. Navy is protecting the movement of commerce across the oceans. If the U.S. Navy didn't have the dominance it did, then you'd have piracy on the high seas, Russia jostling with China, people torpedoing each other's boats. It would be chaos. So a multipolar world is a far more dangerous world than a world in which a country like America. Now, if America's power was enjoyed by, let's say, China or Russia, they might use it in a different way. But we have used it. I mean, American foreign policy at the core is based on 2 very simple principles. Number 1, don't bomb us. Number 2, trade with us.